Look, man, them moments where, everything starts to get tough, everything starts to get hard, everything feels like nothing's going right. You feel lost, you continuously fail. You start to question yourself. You start to question, are you even on the right path? You start to question, are you even doing enough? Are you doing the right thing that God has set out for you to do? Those moments where everything is tough. Like I know those moments, I know those times. But I'm here to tell y'all today, man, when life starts to get harder, when life starts to get tougher, when things start to feel like they're not going right, when you feel like you're constantly trying to get over obstacles, you're constantly fighting this battle of spiritual warfare, is usually a sign that you're going in the right direction. When life gets tough, that means you're doing it right. You're doing what you're supposed to do, because no thing worth having comes easy. Nothing. Nothing worth having is going to come easy. If it was going to come easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. Every single person on this earth would go out there and chase their dreams and chase their goals and put in work every single day if it was easy. So just remind yourself, man, in those moments of tough times, in those moments where you feel like nothing going right, that just means you're making progress. That just means you're moving in the right direction. Whether it be, I'm just going to use this analogy, man, when you work out, you put your body through pain, you put your body through a lot of soreness, you put your body through a lot of stress when you work out. But it's growth through struggle. It's growth through hard times. Even though you're killing your body and you're killing your muscles, you feel stressed out, your body feels sore, even though all those things are happening, even though it's hard, even though the workout may be hard, in those times of struggle, in those times of toughness, your muscles are still growing. And that's just like with everything in life, bro. When it gets hard and it gets tough and you continuously keep pushing on, you continuously keep showing up, you continuously keep working, you're going to continuously grow. Even in the times of hurt, even in the times where it's hard, you're still going to grow because you keep going, you keep showing up every single day. Resistance is what forces growth. Resistance is what forces growth. Like, you would never be able to grow if you don't face these obstacles. You will never be able to grow if you don't face the hard times. Because like I said, it's going to be easy. You're just going to walk straight to the finish line with no growth, nothing new that you've learned, no changes in your life. You're just going to be the same person, but God throws these tough battles in our life, and he throws these tough times in our life, and these seasons where we don't know what's going on, he throws them in order for us to grow. Because if it's tough, that means you're growing. If it's hard, that means you're growing. If it's hard, that means you're going down the right direction. Like I always say, bro, you're never able to grow when you're in a comfortable situation, when you're in a comfortable environment that and that you've been in your whole life. Like, you're never going to be able to grow. You're going to stay the same person, and that's the same with this. If everything was easy, like I said, you're going to stay the same person. But we need these tough times. We need these hard times. We need these times where we feel like nothing is going right, so we're able to learn from it and we're able to grow from it. Because there's a difference between comfort and the challenge. Like I said, easy paths, they don't change us at all. The easy route, the shortcut, the fast way, it doesn't change anything at all. We're still going to be the same person. Yeah, we might have done something and we might have accomplished something, but how long is that really going to last? Because we haven't grown enough to keep that accomplishment. We haven't grown enough to keep that going. We haven't built the real foundation because we took the shortcut. We took the easy path. No easy path changes you. So we got to take the challenge. I know me personally, I like to take the challenge in almost everything that I do. Like, I feel like if I haven't earned it or I haven't worked for it, it's just not worth it to me, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I like to work for everything that I have. I like to earn everything that I have, because I feel like that pressure and that challenge just builds strength. It builds resilience. It builds discipline. It builds character. It builds literally everything. Like, it helps you grow as a person. The challenges help you grow as a person, when you understand that. And, during those moments where you just continue to trust God, like, that's all you got to do, bro. Just understand that no challenge is going to knock you out forever. No storm lasts forever. Darkness don't last forever. Like, these times are going to come to an end at some point. It may be short, maybe a long time. You never know how long it may be, but they're going to come to an end. When you just constantly know and you believe that the challenges are helping you, because they really are. Like, these challenges are helping you grow. It brings more peace in those tough moments. It brings more peace in those hard moments. You got to reframe the struggle. You got to reframe the challenges. Instead of seeing that difficulty or that hard time or that tough time as a stop sign, see it as proof that you're moving in the right direction. See it as proof that you're headed somewhere where you're supposed to be. Because like I said, nothing worth having comes easy. And we've all heard it before, man. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Personally, bro, this is kind of the same thing, what I'm about to say is kind of the same thing. When you start to get closer to God and when you start to build a relationship with God, the devil is going to test you. The devil is going to try to throw your mind off. He's going to try to have this spiritual warfare battle with you in almost everything that you've been accustomed to before you got close to God. You know what I'm saying? So personally, bro, I knew that I was really building my relationship with God, and I knew that I was really getting closer to God every single day when I started to experience these things. When I started to experience the spiritual warfare, when I started to experience the over temptations of lust, even though I've been lust free for however long. You know what I'm saying? Like when things, I'm not gonna say start to go wrong, but when things start to get hard, that really helps me. I keep it in my mind that I'm going in the right direction. When I start to go through these spiritual warfare battles, I keep in my mind that I'm getting closer to God, and that's why this is happening. The devil doesn't want me to win, but the devil will never succeed. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the same analogy, bro. Like when you get closer to God, you're going to experience more temptations. You're going to experience a lot more things that are going to try to stop you and pull you down than you have before. And that's the same in life. When you're getting closer to that goal, when you're getting closer to that breakthrough, when you're getting closer to where God wants you to be, it's going to get tougher. It's going to get harder. Something might get in the way of that. But through those times, man, we got to keep pushing. We got to keep working. We got to just keep going, man, because like I said, the tough times just mean you're heading in the right direction. The hard times and the moments where you feel lost just means that you're heading in the right direction. The storm is proof that you're chasing something bigger than you. The storm is proof that you're chasing something bigger than what you could even imagine. So if it's tough right now, man, if it's hard right now, if you don't know what's going on right now, just don't back down. Just don't quit. Don't give up. Lean into that challenge. Go at that challenge full steam ahead, because on the other side of that challenge is growth, is a whole new person, a better person. These hard times are not punishment. These tough times aren't punishment. They're preparation for something bigger. They're preparation for something way better and way bigger than what you could ever imagine. Like, you have that goal in your head, but God has a goal way bigger for you. Like, I promise you, he has a goal way bigger and way better than the plans that you have for yourself, man. So just keep pushing, bro. You're closer than you think. Like, I promise you, just keep pushing, man. And when it gets hard, like I said, just know that you're going in the right direction. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. On the way to 600 subs. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one.